Welcome to this special video from River Publishers. Today we're talking about our European Journal of Computational Mechanics and our partnership with the UK Association for Computational Mechanics, including the recent prizes given out at the UKACM conference this year. Firstly, Nicki, could you start please by introducing the journal a little bit?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm the journal's publisher at River Publishing, and we started publishing the European Journal of Computational Mechanics about 4 years ago. It was originally a French journal, started in 1992 as a Revue Européenne des Éléments Finis. Notice I'm a natural French speaker, and it's now currently known as the European Journal of Computational Mechanics. 18 months ago, we were lucky enough to get Ruben to join to be our editor-in-chief. We publish innovative work on computational modelling methodologies, and in particular, those dealing with solids, structures, materials, fluids, and contributions dealing with multi-physics or multi-scale problems are also encouraged. And we were lucky enough to attend the meeting at Warwick last month in April, and some prizes were awarded.
Fantastic. So my name is Ruben Sevilla. I am the current president of the UK Association for Computational Mechanics. And just to give a little bit of background, this association was established in 1992 in Swansea by Professor Oleg, which is known as one of the fathers of the finite element method. And it was an association that was established to promote research in computational mechanics in the UK, but also establishing links with other associations. So we are actually one of the 23 members of ECCOMAS, the European Association, and also affiliated to IACM, which is the International Association of Computational Mechanics. The most important activity that we undertake is actually this national conference. So it takes every year at a different institution, and as this has been already mentioned, this year it took place for the first time in Warwick, and it was co-chaired by Mohaddeseh, who is here. And perhaps I'll give you this opportunity, Mohaddeseh, to give us a little bit of a background of how it went in Warwick, which I can summarize in one word. It was a success, but perhaps we can hear from you.
Thank you very much, Ruben. I'm Mohaddeseh Nezhad, Associate Professor at University of Warwick. It was a great pleasure for us at Warwick to host UKACM 2023. It was the first time that the UK computational mechanics community visited Warwick, and it was great that we realized they've been impressed by what we have at Warwick in terms of the campus and colleagues and the activity that we do in this area. We had more than 90 participants this year, and there has been representative from 30 universities. 70 talks has been delivered in 30 parallel sessions. We had 5 excellent keynotes delivered by outstanding scientists, and also 2 lectures delivered by young but very professional, excellent, 2 actually lectures by very excellent academics for our schools, for the UKACM schools. So this is all delivered in this year conference. And we are very proud that the conference was successful.
Thank you very much, Mohaddeseh. So it's one of the most important activities, this conference, and as it has been already mentioned, we established this agreement with River Publishers recently. It's a year and a half ago. So basically, our members, UKACM members, have free access to the journal, and also on return, we have lended the logo to be used in the cover page of the journal from the association. And then River Publisher is sponsoring our prizes, which obviously is one of the biggest attractions because it's how we recognize talent in our community. So we have several prizes. We award prizes to the best presentation given by a postgraduate student. We call this prize the Laura Anna Wilson Prize. Then we have the Nina Cameron Graham Prize, which is the best presentation by a postdoctoral researcher. And then we have the Mike Crisfield Prize, the best presentation overall. And on top of that, these are the prizes that we give at the conference, but we have the national prize to the best thesis. It's called the Roger Owen Prize. So it is a pleasure to introduce here the winners of this year. So in no particular order of importance, I'm going to start with the Laura Annie Wilson Prize. And I think what I would like to do is to give a chance to the winners to very briefly, in 1 or 2 minutes, to present a little bit, or to tell us a little bit about the research for which they have received one of these prizes. So the quality of the work was actually excellent as every year, but this year we had a tie actually for the prize to the best presentation by a postgraduate student, which is just a reflection of the quality of the work. So I'm going to start with Ted O'Hare from Durham University. So would you like to explain us a little bit the research for which you received this prize, please?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, hi everyone, I'm Ted. I'm a second year PhD student at Durham University. And the aim of my PhD is basically to model strain localization in a more accurate way, basically, particularly in geomaterials, because you get a sort of concentrated shear failure where your failure zone localizes along very narrow bands called shear bands. But conventional methods can't capture this, basically, because it's a very sharp discontinuity in your solution field. So we have to use something slightly different, which is called micropolar theory, is the one we use. And it's got this higher order kinematics, so it's got rotations. So basically what it's saying is that your continuum is made up of a sort of an assembly of rigid bodies, and they're like your soil particles. And they can rotate freely, and they can transmit coupled stresses, and they've got a length as well. And this means that we can actually distribute our failure zone a bit more realistically, because usually with conventional techniques, you get an infinitesimal or sort of a zero thickness shear band, which is obviously not what happens in real life. So with this different theory, we can model it a bit more accurately. And our numerical method that we've chosen is called the material point method. And it's particularly good for large deformation problems like geotechnical failure. And it's often used by Disney to model sort of things like snow. That's the one sort of fun fact that gets rolled out about the NPM. I think Rob's going to talk about it a bit later as well. So yeah, my PhD is basically to merge micropolar theory with the NPM to get a more accurate way of modelling strain localization. And yeah, I was really honoured to win the Laura Annie Wilson Prize from UKACM, particularly because she's actually from Halifax, which is where I went to school. So that was particularly great for me. So thank you very much. Very grateful to UKACM and to River Publishers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ted, and for your explanation, and congratulations again on this prize. Yeah. So tied with Ted, we got Nima Sarmali from the University of Warwick, who also received the Laura Annie Wilson Prize. So Nima, do you want to tell us a little bit about your research?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm very glad to be here. I'm Nima, a final year PhD student. Actually, I'm gonna have my Viva next month.
Good luck.
So yeah, at this UKACM conference, I presented almost the final bit of my PhD journey. My PhD was on the numerical modeling of hydraulic fractures in fractured rocks. I used phase field method to model the fractures in saturated porous rocks. So in this conference, I presented a work on identifying the effects of random bedding layering in some rocks that can be found in nature. For example, shales are naturally bedded rocks, so they contain some heterogeneities in the form of beddings. So what I did was to run Monte Carlo analysis and doing stochastic analysis on modeling the hydraulic fracture propagation across these types of rocks. And I had some findings and I presented it in the conference. Basically, these beddings, depending on how they are found in the nature, can have a significant effect on the direction of hydraulic fracture propagation in rocks.
Thank you very much, Nima. Again, congratulations once more. And also thank you because you were one of the helpers in the conference. So
no worries.
That's to be acknowledged. Okay.
Our pleasure.
Very good. So I'm going to move on then to the next one. Is the Nina Cameron Graham Prize to the best presentation by a postdoctoral researcher. And this went to Dr. Robert Bird from Durham University again. So Robert.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So first just say thank you very much for the prize and thanks for organising a great conference as well. I really enjoyed it. So my research, I'm part of a larger project. The project's name is How Deep is Deep Enough, and essentially around the UK, there's a lot of buried pipelines, cables, whether electricity or communication. And there's a big issue at the moment where we've got anchors going from ships, which are then penetrating the soil and then ripping up the cables and causing huge amounts of damage. So effectively, we want to determine a sort of a cost risk analysis overall, which cables are most likely under threat from the ship anchors. So a big part of that is doing numerical modeling of how you actually test what the material is in the subsea, but also the numerical modeling of the anchor penetrating the sand and then diving into the sand and then ripping up the cables. So what I presented at UKACM was a biphase material point contact method with a rigid body to model cones, basically cone penetration tests. We have a cone that penetrates into the sand, and from this penetration you get some force data, and you can determine what material properties are. So specifically, I was working out how do you actually get a rigid body to interact with material points, where the material points, they don't really have a surface. They are just discrete points that move around a mesh. So I was presenting that, and it's sort of partway through. I got some good results, but it's very much on to the next thing, is actually validating against experimental data. So that's sort of, yeah, that's what I presented. But again, yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Fantastic, thank you, Robert, and congratulations again on your prize. So the last prize that was given during the conference as part of the best presentation is the Mike Research Prize to the best presentation overall, and this was given to Agustina Philippa from Swansea University. So Agustina, if you tell us a little bit about your research, please.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for the prize, and thank you for organizing the conference. My work is about is aimed to be used in urban planning, so it's aimed to use to see how is the pollutant distribution, and for that we will need a solver for incompressible transient flow. So the aim is that up until now we are using low order solvers, and the aim of this project is to combine that with a high order solver, so we can have efficiency but also accuracy in the solving of these problems. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Agustina, and again, congratulations. These are all the prizes, the 3 prizes, in fact 4 people, but 3 prizes that were awarded during the conference. But UKACM, as I already mentioned, also awards the prize to the best PhD thesis in the UK. It's the Roger Owen Prize. It's the most important prize that we award. And the winner, apart from the monetary prize, is invited to deliver a plenary lecture in a conference in UKACM. And it also automatically becomes the finalist of the ECCOMAS contest, which is the prize for the 2 PhD theses in Europe. So it is a pleasure for me to introduce Tim Hageman from the University of Sheffield. He's currently not at the University of Sheffield, but this is where he undertook his PhD studies. He's the winner of the 2022 Roger Owen Prize. And Tim, would you like to tell us a little bit more about your thesis that received not only, I think I can reveal it here, not only you received the prize to the best thesis in the UK, but actually you are an ECCOMAS winner. So huge congratulations for that, because your thesis was selected as the best thesis in Europe. So please tell us a little bit more.
Thank you. For my thesis research, I looked into what happens when you have fractures propagating through rocks and then fluid within those fractures. And I looked at it from a computational perspective, how to get kilometer-long fractures with a millimeter opening height within a numerical method that doesn't melt down your laptop or a high-performance computing cluster. So how to get that efficient and sort of in a usable format. And looked at it from both a physical perspective, how to take the governing equations and compress those to something that can be numerically simulated, as well as the mathematical perspective. Okay, we now have simulations. take a run, but how to optimize that, how to make them converse better, converse faster. And like that was mostly theoretical. For that work, I've mostly been simulating squares and rectangles, as probably most people here do that do computational mechanics. But to give it a bit more physical meaning, like the research could potentially be used for problems like spreading pollutants in underground reservoirs or geothermal energy storage.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you very much, Tim. And again, huge congratulations for this achievement, not just the Roger Owen Prize, but also the ECCOMAS one. So fantastic. Mm-hmm. This is a real honor for the whole UK community. Okay, so that concludes all the winners of this year. So I think that has been already mentioned, but I would like to emphasize it one more. It is our plan to arrange a special issue in the European Journal of Computational Mechanics and invite all the participants of the UKACM conference to write a paper. So there will be more details circulated by email, but all the attendees will be invited. And with that, I think I'll hand it back to Philippa.
Great, thank you, Ruben. Nicki, would you like to say anything quickly about the special issue and where people can submit?
Yeah, so thanks. You can submit at the River Publishers website on the EJCM. We'll set up a special track so that it just says the UK conference track, and people can submit into that. And then we know that there's been pre-reviewed once, so it'll still get a blind review, but it'll probably only need one review as opposed to the ones it's already had. And as I said a bit before the recording started, we will be trying to get this published this year as well. So that's, I think, hopefully help everybody's numbers in publishing. Yeah. So thanks very much for being here this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, Nicki. I will put the link to the journal page in the description below, so anyone listening can find it out that way. On behalf of River Publishers, congratulations to all the winners, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk through your work with us today. Thank you, Nicki, Ruben, and Mohad for joining me as well. Ruben, would you like to finish just by talking about next year's conference a little bit?
Yeah, so next year the conference will take place as usual in the Easter time. We normally organize it around this time so that people are free from teaching duties and makes more academics the possibility to travel. And I can announce that the conference will take place in Durham, and it will be chaired by Will Coombs from Durham University. So I hope to see you all there.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Again, thank you everyone for taking the time for this call today, and again, congratulations to all the winners.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.